Do, 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 do.
Good evening, all, and welcome. Now, while I was talking to Mark just now, I thought I'd grab myself some nice chewies, nice and sweet, some arable, and now I regret it. But anyway, yes, Mark was away. He went up to the lakes. Yes, he's and now he's back. Um, and yeah, what we're going to talk about tonight is sorry, I'm making it up as I go along because I've got a sweet stuck in my tooth. Sorry about this. But anyway, what we're going to talk about tonight is it okay to say no? Mark, is it okay to say no?
It's perfectly fine and acceptable to say no.
Right.
I've been thinking about this today because obviously you asked me what might be a good thing to discuss, and I think that people have a very negative relationship with the word no, and I think that's because if I was to ask you, Steve, something like, I don't know, could I borrow your lawnmower tomorrow? And you says no, I would take that as a kind of a negative thing. Oh, what am I going to do? Steve won't let me have his lawnmower. And I think when we ask for things in life and the answer we get is no, I think that kind of instills a negative association with the word. So when the ball's within our court and we've got a choice of either saying yes or no to something, if we were to say no, then we might feel that we're doing something negative, and we might have the best reasons in the world for saying no. And I think it can be a positive thing to say no, because you have to prioritize your life the best you can. And that thing that somebody wants, for example, they might want a favor, they might need some of your time, they might want something from you, and saying no might be the best thing for you because you might not be in a position to give it, you might not be in a position where you want to give it. And if you go against what your instinct is telling you, you may well find yourself feeling worse through obligation than you would have done with saying no.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because sometimes we are afraid to say no just in case if we upset anybody, and it's really tough. By the way, I haven't got a lawnmower, and if I did, I would lend it to you anytime you want.
Thank you.
But it'll be difficult to get it up to Bradford where you live.
But the next thing I was going to ask you is, would you drive up to Bradford with the lawnmower?
I would do, yes.
Okay.
I would do anything for anyone.
But you see, Steve, all kidding aside, that could be the problem, because, as you said, then saying no, it bears the risk of offending somebody and making somebody unhappy, because no tends to have that effect on us when we ask for something. But I don't think it's a word that we should be frightened of using, because, like I say, you've got to, you've got your own life to prioritize, and you've got your own day to take care of, and it just might not be possible or convenient. So why overstretch yourself into offering something or giving something that you really aren't capable of giving, just for the sake of sparing somebody else's feelings.
I know, but sometimes it's nice to kind of like help out. I'll help anybody out. I would
Yeah,
help
me too.
anybody. But the trouble
Me
is,
too.
you've got to come to a conclusion in your life, right? To a point and say, there's got to be a stop there, because if you keep on doing it and doing it and doing it, they're going to come back and more, and they're doing all the taking, but they're not going to give back.
No, and I think with some people as well, you run the risk of, if you're the person that's constantly obliging others and you are always giving and giving and giving, the one time where you say, "I'm sorry, I can't, not on this occasion, I can't," and they'll walk away and think, "God, what's wrong with him?" I've seen that happen with some people.
Oh yeah.
What's his problem? It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
I had a friend of mine who I asked a while back for something, and he said no, and I thought to myself, hang on a sec, this is one person who would have like said yes, but I can understand where you was coming from, and sometimes when people say no, it's not because they want to hurt you, it's because they probably ain't got it, or they haven't got what you're asking for, or whatever. So. But sometimes people do take it the wrong way, don't they? Swear.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, you use the word earlier on. You don't want to offend anyone by saying no. I said at the start of the show that it's because of how we feel when people say no to us for whatever reason. We usually have like a negative, it's like and you'll be questioning, well, why can't you? Why won't you? And and it's a word that can hurt. But I mean, like, for example, let's just say you and I were next door neighbours. We look like we're neighbours on screen. I'm in my gaff, you're next door, and I've got £5 in my pocket, which is going to have to last me until I get paid on Wednesday. I've no food in my cupboards and all the rest of it. You knock on the door and you say, "Hello, Mark. I hate to ask, but I'm a bit short. Could I borrow £5?" Now, some people might be so giving and they'll be so frightened of saying no that they'll think, they'll put their hand in the pocket, they'll hand over the £5, and then the person has got the £5. "Thanks very much, Mark. I'll pay you back when I can," and off they're walking, and you're stood there thinking, "What am I going to do till Wednesday? I've nothing in the cupboards." But because you don't want to offend that person, because they're a friend or a relative or somebody that you respect or what have you, but what you've done is you've actually hurt yourself. You've actually.
Oh yeah, of course. And I think sometimes, but if that does happen now, I don't kind of like give them money no more. I will take them to a supermarket or a shop and buy them food. Because I think that's the best way to do things. The way I do it anyway.
I mean, I was using the money thing there as an example. I mean, another example could be, you've got a car, you're my next door neighbour, and Steve, I hate to ask, but tomorrow could you take me to B&Q, because I want to buy myself a lawnmower, so I don't have to keep borrowing yours. Now, you might have plans for tomorrow, which aren't particularly important to the rest of the world, perhaps. You might be going to visit a library, or you might be going to see a film at the cinema. But because you don't want to say no to me, you'll say, "Yeah, okay, I'll take you." And then, it's that thing again where you need to put yourself first, I think, sometimes, and you need to prioritize. Again, I use that word, but prioritize your day, what you've got laying ahead of you. Because you can sometimes, again, you can make life very, very difficult for yourself by saying yes.
Yeah.
And I think we need to.
What I will do, I will kind of pick you up, take you to get a lawnmower, then I'll go, right. Because of this, you can have it, but you've got to cut around about 6 farm fields and my grass plus my hair. Then you can have.
You needing a trim, Steve? You needing a trim?
I need a trim. Honestly, yeah, I do need a trim. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask Beth earlier with a pair of scissors, but you got to be careful
Oh,
what you say. Because she's watching. You got to be careful.
what do you mean?
Just watching.
No, no, she's watching, but what do you mean? Why do you have to be careful, Steve?
Well, with Beth, gosh, she'd come
Yeah,
along with a pair of scissors and cut your ears off.
it's not very
Yes,
nice, is it?
I know.
Mm,
I know. You've got to be
yeah,
careful. But no, no. What I'm trying to say, though, is like anything, though, it's so difficult to say no for some things. It's like if someone come up to me and say, Steve, can you do this, do that? I'll be the first one to say, yeah.
mm,
But the trouble is because I don't like saying no to anybody, even my enemies. I will out my enemy out,
okay.
right? But
Mm,
to the point of saying, look, this is me, and I will kind of like help them out and say, okay, this is it, and this is the last time type thing. But I want kind of like you got to be. I think you've got to come to a point in your life and think, when is it the ideal situation to say no because you don't want to offend anybody?
yeah. I mean, there are some people in life that just say no, no, no. And I'm one of them when I'm walking through the street and somebody's trying to get my attention. I'll say, not today, not today. And that's a rather rude way of saying no, I suppose. But then there's some people who'll just say no, no, no all the time. They'll resist change. They'll resist suggestions. Some people are very much like that. Most people aren't. Most people are like yourself and me, where they will gladly do anything for anybody if they could. But I think the point I was trying to have us focus on tonight was the whole thing of it is okay to say no sometimes.
Yes, of course
when
it
when
is.
it's
Yeah,
when it's at the expense of your own mental health and your own life.
yeah. Would you say no to a piece of chocolate cake?
No, I wouldn't. What do you mean? To if I was offered some?
Yeah, if you were offered some piece of cake, like so, read the message.
It is very hard to say no to a piece of chocolate cake, and the reason for that is the chocolate cake would have an even harder time asking you a favour.
Right.
No,
Okay. Would you say no to one of these?
I knew it was leading up to this. What have you got there?
Terrible.
Haribo. I'd say I'd snatch your hand off, Steve, if you were offering me one.
Okay, so I'll offer you one now.
Okay.
Right. Right. I'll offer you one now.
This is weird. Go on.
So this is a milk bottle, right, for you.
Hang on, it's this hand. Right, here,
Yeah.
pass it over. Pass it over,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah. Okay. There you
Oh,
go. Right.
thank you.
Okay. But anyway, but if you had some sweets and someone
Mm-hmm.
came up to you and watched you eating a sweet, would you give if they say to you, "Oh, can I have a sweet, mate?" Would you give them one, or would you say no?
It depends how many sweets I had left. I used to be very, very secretive with sweets, and never offer any to anybody. And I mastered the art of unwrapping them in my pocket and thinking I was very good at slipping the sweet in my mouth when nobody was looking, and everyone noticed, and I was pulled up over it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. All right, come on, don't start me off, please. I've got to behave myself.
You have to behave yourself, yeah.
Yes, because there's a few people watching. Um, the trouble is, though, it's like gigs, what you do with music and everything. Someone come up to you and go, right, Mark, I want you to do a free gig tonight, right? And you go, no, you got to pay for it, and you go, and you go, okay, I'll let you have it for free, and you really want that money, but you're afraid to say no, innit?
Yeah, that's a good example, and that has happened a few times where I've been asked to do something either for free or on mates' rates, i.e., very very cheap, and I've always been reluctant to say no through risk of offending, and when I've done the gig, I've done it with such a terrible attitude. It's like I'm beating myself up for accepting this badly paid gig, or whether it's if I'm getting something for it. And again, it's I've said yes to my own detriment. That's not to say that I'm against giving free gigs or what have you, because I do gigs for free. I've done quite a few charity gigs and what have you. I'd like to think I'd do half a dozen a year, and do my bit. But I have to be very, very aware that I can't allow people to take advantage of that just because I've done it once.
I keep on telling a friend of mine called Lizzie, and she's like an health coach and everything, and and I keep telling her, I said, you cannot keep doing things for free, but she does. She does these health groups where like healthy eating groups and everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes she makes all these groups up, and sometimes you've got to be so careful, because it's okay giving freebies away all the time, but if you're self-employed, you've got to make the money.
Yeah.
You've got to make money. You can't just give it away for nothing.
Oh no, because that's true, and then also there's more than the monetary aspect of it, because if you are, if you were constantly giving and giving and giving for very very little return, I'm talking about in a work perspective, whether you were self-employed or in paid employment, if somebody says, "Oh, I can't afford to pay you the full whack this week," and you kept accepting these lower rates of pay, you're in danger of devaluing yourself and what it is you actually do. It's almost because it's a difficult one.
Would you say no to your girlfriend?
Well, again, I mean, it all depends on.
No. Would you? No. Don't make no excuses up, right?
Here we go.
No. I'm not trying to be.
You're not trying to get me married off, are you, Stephen?
Me? Would I do that to you?
Because it's not a leap year. She's not going to ask. Anyway, carry on, Steve.
She's not even on here, so I can't ask her. So, if you're on here, make yourself known. No.
The hooded claw laugh.
What?
You laugh like the hooded claw.
Hey, behave yourself.
You'd be a good pantomime villain. Anyway, carry on. So, would I say no?
Would you say no to your girlfriend?
In theory, no, I wouldn't. I would be obliging and receptive to anything that she asked.
Right. Okay. So really, it is difficult to say no, isn't it? It's like if my wife come up to me and say, "Steve, hang on a sec, I've got to be careful what I'm saying here." But if my wife comes up to me and says to me, "Steve, I want you to buy me a new pair of shoes, say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a pair of trainers, right?" And if I say no, she'll get offended. But she won't take the notice from me anyway. She'll just go out and buy a pair. Okay. So it doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to say to you is this: that sometimes when we have relationships and when we're in love, right, it is really hard to say no to the person that we love, because you don't want to offend them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
so when you went away, to the Lake District with your girlfriend, say.
Yeah.
I'm suppose you went with your girlfriend. You didn't go away with Barbara, by the way, did you? The other
Who's
woman in your life.
Barbara?
Yeah, Barbara.
Oh, Barbara.
Yeah.
No, Barbara's in prison.
Is she?
Yeah, she got sent down, so I had to go with my girlfriend instead.
All right. Well, she got done for curb crawling, did she?
Oh, the way your mind works.
Oh, yes, I know, but never mind.
No, but the
It's
thing
gone.
is, going back to what you were saying about, saying no to people that you love. It can be your partner, your wife. It can be your children. It can be your parents, the people who are closest to you. As a human being, your natural response is to be giving and to make those people very dear to you as happy as possible. And it is a horrible thing to say no, especially to the people that you care about and
Oh
you
yeah,
love.
of course it is. Yeah, I just joke around here, but the trouble is, though, people expect women to be nice, don't they? They expect, you know, men expect, or anybody expect women to be nice to people, and not to say no sometimes. Because for women to say no, it's like what, what? But from us men, it's like, oh well, mate. Okay, if you want to be like that, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I don't know if in the modern day, in the last 20, 30 years, whether or not there's an expectation for women to be, compliant and obliging. That was probably very, very much the case many, 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 many years ago. So I don't. It's not something I would expect of a female to, just because she's female, to say yes to everything and not to, to say no. But I think there was certainly an element of that. There was a culture of that many, many years ago. Maybe I just know different girls to you, Steve. Maybe all the girls they're so enraptured by your dynamic chats that
Oh
they just
no.
can't help themselves saying yes.
Okay.
Anyway, who's put this? Is this Beth? Relationships. Yeah. That's correct. That is absolutely correct. Is that? Because again, saying yes can be, it can be a difficult thing to say. It can be to your own detriment, to your plans, to your mental health, to your, and sometimes saying yes. Sometimes saying yes. Go on, Steve. Go on.
It's like give and take, isn't it? Elizabeth was saying, give and take. You got to give and take.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think saying yes or no should be. It should be like a compromise thing, or a relationship competition, if that's what I'm trying to say. I.e., you said yes last time, so I'll say yes this time, or you said no to me, so I'm going to say no to you. I don't think it works. I don't think it should work like that.
Gary says my wife says no all the time.
Well, it's oh no, the lady's prerogative is to change her mind. Yeah. What's he asking? That's the question, Steve. That is the question.
Yeah, that's the question. What you asking, Gary?
Yeah, come on, Gary. Spill the beans, Gary. We need to know what she's saying no to.
Yes. Yeah, I know. You've got to be so careful, aren't you? Because, it's like, you've got to be so careful when, I don't want to be horrible here. You've got to be careful sometimes what you say to women too, don't you? If you go out on a date with them, you want to please them, don't you? You don't want to upset them, don't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
and you've got to say no sometimes.
What, during a date? During a first date, you mean?
Yeah. Say like you've been out for the reason why I'm saying this is this. Sometimes our partners, we always try to please our partners,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes we're afraid to say no to our partners because we might be, to offend them or to kind of to it could be a sign to put them down or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went out on a date once years ago, and I said something to somebody, and they chucked a glass of beer over me.
I heard you talk about this with Beth, I think it was. Was it something about her jacket or your jacket? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But it's don't laugh. It's not funny.
I'm not laughing. It's a nervous laugh because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah, yeah. It's okay. I know what you're doing. Yeah.
That's better. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He wants everything, does Gary?
Yes. Yes, but she said keep saying no.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, mate. Don't worry about it. Join the club. Yeah.
There's room for everybody in your canoe.
Get some, get some Haribo. Okay. Yeah, all right.
What?
You said something about in my canoe. You packed me off.
Yeah, there's room for it. You said join the club, and I said there's room for everybody in your canoe. We're all holding onto the same paddle.
Now, what's Beth saying again?
Yeah.
Stop waving sweets.
Yeah, stop waving the sweets. What Beth has just said there, it's like if you would say no to me to take, because you're going to the cinema tomorrow and I want you to take me to B&Q. I'm sorry, Mark, but tomorrow I'm going to see Dances with Wolves, the 25th anniversary edition at the Odeon. It's only showing tomorrow, and I've been looking forward to it. So if you were to say that to me as an explanation as to why you can't take me to B&Q tomorrow, I'd think, fair enough, that's okay. I say, well, what about Wednesday? What are you doing Wednesday? So yeah.
So are you trying to say that you won't take Beth to the cinema?
No, that's not. I'm quite sure. Oh, he's a one, isn't he?
See, there you go. I'm getting you back now for what you
Not only are you trying to get me married off.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah.
You're now trying to fix me up with other guests, taking them out to the cinema.
No, I'm not sure. Beth, stop that, Steve. Okay then. Okay. But what I'm trying to say, I just got told off.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, sorry, Beth. She's like my mum, Beth. She's lovely. Yes, stop that, Steve. Bye, Guy. Yeah, okay, thank you, guys. But no, what I'm trying to say, let's get it really serious here.
Yeah.
But how can we begin to say no to some people, because sometimes it is very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. I think doing a simple weighing up, first of all, is saying yes going to be the right thing for me to do? Do I have plans that would go against what the person's asking of me? Would I be compromising all the rest of it? And just offer an explanation. But Clint Eastwood is one of my favorite actors, and one of the lines that he said in one of the Dirty Harry films was, a man's got to know his limitations. A man's got to know his limitations. And you need to know what you're capable of doing, what you're capable of delivering, because you can't deliver all the time. You can't give everything all the time, not at the expense of yourself. So I think having a healthy relationship with that aspect might help you to have a healthy relationship with the word no, because it isn't necessarily a negative word. It can be a very positive word for you.
Okay, so why is saying no important?
For your own sake, for your own peace of mind, for your own sanity, for your own mental health.
Right.
Because we all want to help, we all want to be nice, and we all want to say yes, but sometimes it's just not possible or feasible. And it's that whole thing, thinking that the other person's going to be offended. Well, they might well be offended. You can follow the no, I can't do that, but with a because X, Y, Z, as Beth has said there. But I think it's something we shouldn't beat ourselves up about, because saying no doesn't necessarily mean that you're a selfish, nasty, ungiving person. It just might not be the right thing for you. And, it's sometimes you do have to put yourself and your life first. And it's not a negative thing to do. And I think sometimes life has a habit of making you feel that it is, that you're self-centered, that you're selfish. And
do you find when you're saying no, you feel guilty too?
Yeah. Especially with my children.
Yeah.
Especially when during the times like during the last year when I've not had much money. I've just had enough money to pay bills and all the rest of it. And then when they've seen something that they'd like, and I've had to say, no, sorry, we can't do that. We can't go there. Or I can't buy you that. And I felt terrible.
Yeah.
And then I've explained to them, it's because Daddy can't go out to work at the moment, and they understand, but it still doesn't stop me from feeling terrible about it. But yeah.
Let me show you this video.
Okay.
No. No. No.
Oh, hang on.
Some traders are like hawks. They can spot an opportunity miles away and catch it at the perfect moment.
Easy Dreamers, welcome back to another lesson with me, Tom. Today we're looking at 20 words that Brits and Americans say totally differently. All that is coming right up.
Sorry about this, guys. I messed up here. Anyway. Stop screen. Yeah, sorry about that. But saying no really to anybody, saying no, we've got to be so careful just in case we offend somebody, just in case we, what kind of boundaries do we aim, we got what's the boundaries?
Yeah.
Because see, the trouble is with me, I sometimes go over those boundaries with people because what can I say? I try to please people, but then sometimes I probably keep pleasing. Then when I go over to a certain boundary, the person that I'm trying to please might get upset.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. They might get upset because you said no.
You that? Yeah. Do you ever get like that?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier on. When I used to be a manager, and for example, the diary for staff holidays, and you could only allow so many people off. And occasionally you'd look and you think, well, we haven't really got much going on tomorrow. Yeah, you can have a day, it's holiday. You can have tomorrow off. And you've gone over your holiday quota. And then I've had it where that same person that I've said yes to several times over the years. They'll come in and say, Mark, can I have Thursday off? I know that you've already got 3 people off, but I really need Thursday off. And I'll look and I'll see that we've got a busy day plan. I say, I'm sorry, but we can't do it. And you can see it. It's like, and it's like, what the hell's the matter with him, sort of thing. And they'll storm out and slam the door, sort of thing. You know, that kind of, and then they're sulking with you for the rest of the day and the rest of the week, because you've said no, because, you know, and they think that there's something wrong with you. You're the big bad guy because all of a sudden you've said no rather than yes. And I had the best reasons in the world for saying no. And I explained to them that I'm sorry, but Thursday's not possible because we've got this delivery coming in or what have you, and we've already got people off. Yeah, I've had that where you do end up offending people.
Yeah. How about if we do it in different ways of saying no? Sometimes we say no in a aggressive way sometimes, or
yeah,
it's the way we say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I normally preface the word no with a simple "I'd love to, but,"
60%.
and then just go, you know, and then go through the rigmarole of explaining why it's not possible. You know, I would love to, but you know, you can soften the blow.
Yeah.
With that. Or under normal circumstances, I would, but actually, it's not a good time. It's not a good thing. It's not possible. What have you? You know, there's certain little cushions that you can put before the actual refusal to try and soften the blow. But some people, regardless of how padded you make your pre-response statement, they'll still get the they'll still get the hump, as it were. Still take the bat and ball home.
Oh yeah. Let's watch this video.
All right.
Of your team's time goes to doing things that aren't actually work. Asana.
Hey, it's Anne-Marie with Speak Confident English, and this week we're going to talk about how to say no in English and do it politely. Whether you're too busy, too tired, or you just don't want to do something, it can be challenging to say no to a family member, friend, or coworker who needs your help. It might be difficult because you're not sure of the right words in English, you don't want to hurt or disappoint anyone, and you might even feel guilty if you say no. So today we're going to learn how you can say no politely so that you don't have to worry about the guilt, you don't hurt anyone's feelings, and you can still have a positive relationship. Plus, I'm going to share with you how to say no in the most difficult situation, when you've already said yes to someone, but now you need to say no. So be sure to watch to the end to get that final tip. To get started on this topic of saying no, I have a question for you. Have you ever heard of this expression, busy bragging? Busy bragging is when someone loves to talk about how busy they are and how many commitments they've made. But you and I both know that being too busy can actually be miserable. It means that you might not be getting enough sleep, you might not be doing well in your job, and you feel stressed and overwhelmed. Learning how to politely say no in English will help you avoid overcommitting so that you don't feel stressed and you don't feel guilty about saying no either. When it comes to saying no, I could give you a list of fake, phony excuses like, oh, I'm really sorry, I can't come to your party because my bird is really sick and I need to stay home to give it some medicine. But here in the Speak Confident English community, we believe honesty is the best policy, and we love combining that honesty with the language that allows you to stay polite and friendly. And that is the first strategy for saying no. Whether you need to decline an invitation or a request, it's important to be honest, but you don't need to include a lot of details when you say no. For example, if a colleague invites you out during the work week, and honestly, you're just tired, you want to go home and watch your favorite Netflix show, or maybe there's an event at your child's school, you could simply say, I'm sorry I can't make it. I've got something else planned, but let's try another time. Now, if it's a colleague requesting you to stay late and help them out with a project, you can make a small change to this example by saying, I'm sorry I can't help you out. I've got something else planned, but I hope everything works out okay. Again, you're being clear about saying no without giving too many details. But what do you do if someone insists that you say yes and there's a lot of pressure? In that situation, you want to make sure that you don't leave any room for maybe. If someone asks you to do something and you are honestly too busy, too tired, or you just don't want to, but you say something like, "Oh, I'm not sure if I can. Let me check my calendar." Or, "I don't know. I'll get back to you." In those examples, you didn't say no, you said maybe. And that means there's room for them to continue putting pressure on you, and you might eventually say yes. So you want to avoid those kinds of phrases. Other phrases that you might want to avoid are, "Can I tell you later?" "Let me check my schedule and get back to you." Instead of leaving room for maybe, it's important that you are clear about saying no. But you can still be polite by using something like, "I'm afraid that I can't. I have another commitment. I'm really sorry." Or, "I would help you if I could, but I'm not able to. I've got something else I have to do." In those two examples, I was clear about saying no, but I did it politely and without including too many details. But then there's those situations when you know that saying no is really going to disappoint someone. And we never like that. We feel guilty, we feel regret, we feel terrible when we know that we're disappointing someone else. But sometimes, even then, we still need to say no because you might truly be committed to something else. You might need to take care of your kids or simply avoid feeling stressed and overwhelmed. So, in those situations, a great way to say no is to be clear about saying no, but also include how you feel. Let me give you an example. "I'm really sorry, but I have to say no. I'm overcommitted right now, and I know that if I say yes to you, I won't be able to do my best work." In that example, not only did I say no, but I talked about feeling overcommitted and the fact that if I said yes, I wouldn't be able to do my best work. I wouldn't be able to give my full attention or all the energy I need. And when you share those kinds of details, it's really difficult for someone else to continue putting pressure on you to say yes. Similar to saying that you're overcommitted, you could also use language like "you're overwhelmed" or "you're stretched thin." And now let's talk about the hardest situation when you might need to say no. And that's when you've already said yes to someone. In English, we have a great phrasal verb to talk about this situation: to back out of something. To back out of something means that you will not do something that you already said you would do. So you might need to back out of a commitment. You might need to back out of an invitation. You might need to back out of lunch with friends. And doing that definitely comes with a lot of feelings of guilt, regret, or even being embarrassed that you have to say no. But these situations happen in real life, and I want you to be prepared to deal with it in English. It might be because of an emergency, maybe there's a crisis at work, or you just get sick and you have to say no to something. Here's how you can do it in a polite and caring way. First, apologize and explain why you have to say no. If you can, offer an alternative. And finally, finish with what you hope will happen in the end. Let's look at examples of putting all of those together. "I'm so sorry, but I won't be able to stay late tonight to help you finish that project. My daughter's sick and I need to be home with her. But I'll send out an email to others on the team to see if anyone else is available, and I really hope we can find someone." In that example, I apologized and explained why I needed to back out. I offered an alternative by saying I would help them find someone else, and I ended with what I hoped would happen in the end. Let's look at one more example. Let's imagine that you've been trying to get together with some of your best friends for lunch for weeks, and all of you have finally decided on a date, but you've just had a crisis come up at work. So here's how you could manage that situation.
There you go. But it's just some, kind of like information and everything. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's pretty much what we've been the scenarios and the what have yous that we've been trying to explore within our own chat. The whole thing of the negative aspects of the word no, i.e. the guilt that you feel. There's absolutely no reason why you should feel guilty. It shouldn't really be a negative thing to say, because it might be the absolutely right thing to say for your own mental health. You might be tired, you might be stressed, you might need that afternoon watching Dances with Wolves in the cinema. That's your day off, that's what you want to do. You don't feel bad about it. No, it's just really that. It's about the whole thing of trying to remove this negative connotation that we have with the word no. It's a very difficult word to say. And it's actually a shorter word to say than yes, in terms of the amount of letters.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It should be easier to say, really.
Yeah. But it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's difficult. Good. I'll tell you what, that was a good, really, really, really good, because, sometimes we need to kind of like know about saying no, really, don't we? We need to kind of, but sometimes in life, it's so difficult to say no. And, and we've got to kind of like, kind of book up and say, yeah, okay, no, and you've got to really mean it.
Yeah, I mean, the reasons for saying no are based in, the selfish reasons, then by all means feel bad about it. You'll know within yourself whether or not you're being reasonable or unreasonable with the use of the word no. And again, it's not necessarily a negative word.
Oh no, but when you get people, it's like me when I'm going around kind of like working out the next schedule for like September, say, who's on the show in September or October.
Mm-hmm.
Like people come up to me and say, "Oh, maybe can I get back to you?" And it's that's fine with me. But if people say yes or no, then I'll go right. Okay, you told me the answer.
Yeah, you know where you are.
Yeah, and it's kind of like we can slot everybody in, and sometimes where they're kind of like trying to do things, it's I expect some of my main kind of people to come on anyway because I can trust them. But when you got people who say, okay, maybe I see what I'm doing between then, to me, it's like, oh, well, this is a bit of a negativity. It's a bit of a negativity, going on here. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, but the word maybe, you see, again, that's another loaded word. In the context of what the lady was saying in the video, maybe can be a very unhelpful thing to say to somebody that's trying to get something from you. If you really just want to say no, because when you say the word maybe, like she said, you're leaving an opening there for them to keep chipping away at you. So if you were to say, no, I can't do that, or no, it's not possible, then you've closed the door on that. If somebody's saying maybe to you, Steve, they may wish with all their heart to be able to come onto one of your shows in September, but at that moment in time, they might not be in a position to see that they can do that. They might be in a position a week down the line to move a few things around to do that. So that's why they're saying maybe. They may be saying that word to you, maybe, with the very best intentions.
Oh yeah, that was just for example what I was trying to say.
No, I was just interested in why you thought it might be a negative word. Is that because it's not a commitment and it's leaving you wide open to disappointment?
Yeah. Because see, what happens with me is, right, I'm lucky, right, because what we do is we book people in advance. So if people can't, what we say to our people is like, or anybody, we say, well, if you can't make it, can you let us know? And then we will be able to fit someone in that slot, right? Or we can kind of like just cancel it for that week, say. So last week for your slot. We didn't have anybody in because
Yeah.
that's your slot, so we didn't have anybody in. So, and that was it. So, but the trouble is, though, in life, we got to say either yes or no and make it clear, because I don't think a maybe is. Well, this is what I think, right? I don't think a maybe or a might or whatever is clear enough.
No, I mean, it's a very unhelpful word in terms of, you know, for example, you trying to plan, you know, a series of shows for next month. You know, maybe is, you know, is the last thing you want to hear. You want to either hear yes or no. I think maybe is, you know, in any other context, I mean, it's quite a hopeful word. It can be quite a hopeful word, you know. Maybe we can do something next month, Steve. You know, if I was to say that, that isn't me trying to wriggle out of anything or to put you off. I'm saying to you there, well, maybe we could do something next month. It's i.e., I'm open to the idea. At this moment in time, I can't see that I'm able to for this week or what have you, but maybe next month. I think that, you know, it's quite a positive thing. When it's presented to you as a course of action a little bit further down the line, it's only a negative thing. If you were at me, if I says maybe we can do something next month, I'm basically, you know, and if you were still chipping away at me saying, well, no, can we do it next week? You know, in that way, it's a negative thing. But yeah, in your line of work that you're doing there, yeah, you need confirmation, and you need, you know, somebody's availability. It's either yes or it's no. You need to know, basically, to plan ahead. So I can understand from that perspective why maybe isn't very helpful.
The trouble is, right? We're not like any other shows, because the trouble with us is, right, we don't get like thousands and thousands of people on a show, even though that we got around about 33,000 followers. They're not usually on here 33,000 followers like on here. You know, it's like they're following us. So, but the trouble is, some people will watch you later on or on YouTube and all that lot. You know, I was surprised the other day with something. You know, there are some shows that know what they. There's some shows that people don't go on, right? That we do. But there are other shows that they do go on, and the shows are really, really good. Yeah. And but the trouble is, to say no to the people who it's got shows and it's not working out, to me, that, you know, I cannot say no to anybody, because they've put their time and effort in, and I find it difficult to say no anyway, because no one gets paid on here.
No.
Well, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I find it difficult. But I'm not going to say no to anybody. If anybody wants to come on here, they can do it with their art, because, you know, all I'm trying to do is just trying to help people. That's all I'm trying to do, and get the message out there. So I won't say no to anybody. But saying no is so difficult. It's difficult, isn't it? Yeah. You know, it's like me. You know, it's like I just the other day when I said to you about you getting married. You know, to your beautiful partner. No,
Barbara.
No, it's not Barbara. What's her name? I can't remember her name now. Mary, isn't it?
Mary.
Or was that the one that you? Is that the one you met the other day in Winslow or something?
In Winslow.
No,
Mary in Winslow.
Yes.
Have you got a private detective following me, Steve?
Oh yeah.
How do you know about these people?
Well, what I do is I get I get somebody called Elizabeth Davidson, and she's my detective,
Right. Okay.
and she follows anybody around. And what I do for that, I give her a cream cake.
Well, you want to ask for those cream cakes back, Steve, because I've never been to Winslow in my life, and I don't know anyone called Mary.
He does. you can always find out when Mark is lying because he laughs.
It's
You
a
know
nervous
Mary,
laugh.
Mark, don't you?
Mary. No, I don't think I know anyone called Mary.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Not in Winslow, then.
Certainly not in Winslow. Where is this place?
Right, okay. But no, but it's a joke. We're just having a laugh.
It's just banter.
Yeah, it's just banter and everything. Okay, guys, thank you very much. That was really, really good. We've got a lot of people on here tonight watching that. That was really good. You did right, boy. You did right. My attendance might be going up to around about 3 people now. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Elizabeth. I love you, Elizabeth. She's a really good cook, she is, Elizabeth.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's good at making sausages. Lovely.
Oh, right, okay.
She makes nice sausages. And that's it. Bye, guy. Yes, okay.
Hang on a minute. Whoa. She makes nice sausages, and that's it.
Hang on.
That's what you said.
Yeah, okay, right.
There must be more to her than that. Who is it? Elizabeth, did you say?
Yeah,
Elizabeth?
Yeah. Davidson, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, we need to know more about what's good about Elizabeth. She's got more talents than just making sausages. Surely.
But a few years ago, I met Elizabeth, right? Not met her in person, but met her online.
Mm-hmm.
And she helped me to get on with sort my life out. I owe quite a bit about it. Oh, it's a long story, but all I can say is this. She's a wonderful... Well, I'm not beefing her up with sausages. I'm not trying to beef her up, but what I'm trying to say, she's really good at what she does with her job, right? As an health coach, about people losing pounds.
Okay.
And she's good at doing everything, and and everything. But also, she's a really good cook and everything.
And she's good with sausages.
Oh yeah, she makes really nice sausages. Really
there
nice.
You go. See, now I've got the perfect picture of Elizabeth.
Yeah, she makes really, really nice sausages. Yeah. Yes. But the trouble is, they were all wrinkly when she cooked them all. They were all wrinkly.
Can I say this on the airwaves? No, I don't think I can.
Hang on for a second. Yeah, you're past the watershed now.
What is there anything that those sausages remind you of?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The wrinkly ones.
Sorry.
The wrinkly ones.
Well, the wrinkly ones reminds me of one of mine.
How many have you got, Steve?
What?
You're pluralizing the singular there.
Stop winding me up.
I'm not winding you up.
Yes, they were. They were really good sausages. Well, I didn't have them to eat, but they were, look. What Elizabeth's saying there, see?
Rustic. That's a word. I like that word.
They were
rustic.
Yeah, they were rustic. Yeah. They were really good. But the trouble is, you'll see, when she was making these sausages and everything, it's like they didn't come out as sausages, some of them. They come out like screwed up. What's it called? What do they call them when something's screwed up? What? A meatball, say.
A meatball screwed up.
Can you imagine it?
Yeah, I've seen lots of screwed up pates in my life. Yes.
Have you? Well,
Steve, I think you've had too many Haribo sweets tonight. I think that your mind is racing with E numbers and chemicals.
no, I'm okay. I'm very well. Hey, I just love winding you up. I said to Beth on my show on our show earlier. I said, "Watch tonight, Beth, because I'm going to wind him up."
And yeah, it's been a.
But I got it. But then she took me off. Was it? Ha ha ha. They were in a bad. Yes. Well, there you go.
A tad misshapen. Not screwed
Yes.
up, Steve. Not screwed up. Misshapen. There's a
Right,
difference.
misshapen. Then could have used a rolling pin or something instead of touching them. You know.
What's that saying? Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. I better finish.
Well, there you go. We've put the world to rights yet again.
Oh yes, we did with our rustic.
By rustic
sausages.
bangers.
Oh, bangers! Do you like bangers?
I like vegetarian bangers. I like Quorn bangers and Linda McCartney bangers.
Oh, Linda McCartney bangers. I didn't know that Linda McCartney had. Oh yes, she did. Yeah.
Yeah, she still has her line of meat-free food.
Did she?
Yeah, it's still there.
I didn't know that.
And...
I didn't know that Linda McCartney had a banger roll.
She had.
or was she married to a banger?
Oh, Lord of mercy. Do you not like Paul McCartney then?
Paul McCartney? No, I don't like him. No.
You don't, right? Okay.
No. I like the other ones. Ringo. What were they called?
There was John, Ringo, and George. And
That's
Paul.
Rainbow.
Oh yes, it was. Yeah.
That was Rainbow.
Yeah, and also the Beatles: John, Paul, George, and Ringo. But you like them all apart from Paul.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're it's interesting that because Elvis Presley met the Beatles, and there was a Beatle that he didn't like particularly, and that was John Lennon.
Why's that?
He thought he was to put it bluntly, a hippie communist.
Yeah, but he was in a way, wasn't he? He was a bit of a nippy, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, with his ideas and his hair, but that's not a negative thing. You see, Elvis covered 5 Beatles songs in his career, and not one of them was written by John Lennon. 4 of them were Paul McCartney songs, and the 5th one was a George Harrison song. So that's quite telling as well, I think.
Did he sing that song? We all live in a yellow submarine.
Elvis Presley, no. Elvis did "Hey Jude," the Paul McCartney song. "Get Back," Paul McCartney song. "Lady Madonna," which is a Paul McCartney song. "Yesterday," which is a Paul McCartney song, and "Something," which is the George Harrison song.
I've never heard of him. I've never heard Elvis Presley sing those songs.
I'll send you some links.
Yesterday. What was that? What was the song? Sing it. Yesterday.
Where all my troubles seemed so far away.
I left them in Windermere in the Lake District last week.
What, my troubles?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I didn't take my troubles with me to Windermere. Left them in Bradford. They were waiting for me when I came home.
Bradford, gosh.
Oh, here we go.
You need. I'll tell you what. To go to Bradford, you need a crash helmet, don't you? To go to Bradford.
No.
Who is
but
Mark? Mark Mephis.
that's me.
Yes, that's it. It's the old guy on the right.
It's me.
Who is Mark? Yes. It's the
Who
yeah. You got me, and you got the old one on the other side.
Yeah, I think she's wanting to know my credentials, maybe.
All right. So who is all right? Yes, from. Oh,
So
which one-
this is your big chance, Steve, to give me the big build up that I've been waiting for all these years.
Okay, here we go then. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mark Mephis, and he's all the way from Bradford. Yes. He's a singer. Yes, the last time he went into a bar, there was only 3 people in there listening to sing, and when he started singing, they all left. It was the committee. No, I'm only joking. Where's he from? Yeah, he's from Bradford, Elizabeth. Yes, he's all the way from Bradford. Yeah. Yeah, that's where that's a good place, Bradford. I've been to Bradford. Bradford, I only went to the football club, though.
Yeah.
Yes, when Plymouth was playing Bradford. But I can tell you now, Bradford's a really nice place to go.
It's all right. It's Bradford. You know, it gets a bit of a bad rap. But I keep saying to people, it's no better or no worse than most places in the UK. It's had its fair share of problems. It does have a tendency to get left behind a little bit. It is like a poor relation to Leeds, but that's not Bradford's fault. We seem to have a knack of churning out notorious serial killers. Steve?
What?
Nothing. And but we have notorious serial killers. Yeah, Yorkshire Ripper.
Oh yeah, the Yorkshire Ripper. Yeah,
the crossbow cannibal. The Black Panther. What?
Do you remember when I thought someone was going to come and get me?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, you couldn't sleep.
I couldn't sleep. Gosh.
No, it was shockingly bad for you.
I woke up in the morning going to guess. My head's still here.
Yeah, looking for horses' heads.
Oh yes, yeah.
Next to you in the bed. Yeah, you were a wreck.
Yeah, I know. Guy Jackson says,
I got you out of it.
Guy Jackson says, "How did you meet?" Who met?
What,
me and Mark.
Well, we met on Plenty of Fish. And we've yet to hook up. Steve keeps saying no. He's not frightened of offending me, but that's how we met, on Plenty of Fish.
Yeah. There you go. Look. How did we meet? We met on Plenty of Fish. Yeah. Yeah, but the trouble is, I couldn't find a place to go to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we met on Plenty of Fish.
Yeah, you I said I was in Bradford. You weren't listening, and you ended up in Bradford upon Avon.
Yes, I did.
And it was a wasted afternoon for both of us, I think.
I know, but now we're just good buddies.
Just good friends, without benefits.
Yes, even though I did go in Bradford Job Centre and ask for my family allowance. Yes. Anyway. What's it? No, seriously, how did you meet? How did we meet?
We just connected on Facebook, I believe.
Yes, we did. Yes.
And
we've been friends ever since.
We've been the best of buddies ever since. You asked me to come on your Sunday show and to sing a few songs.
And you did.
Which I did.
And it drew everybody away.
It did. The show got axed.
Yeah.
And that was the one time where Steve felt happy saying no when I says you can have me back next month. And that was for the sake of his reputation and his podcasts.
Yes.
And then we did, and then we
No.
and then we decided to go for Mondays instead.
Yes. Yes, we did. Mark, any thoughts about Charlie Watts?
Yes, very sad, very, very sad. I always preferred the Rolling Stones to the Beatles, and what I liked about Charlie Watts was he wasn't certainly as far as the Rolling Stones are concerned, he wasn't like the flashiest member. He wasn't like the one that was in your face. But when you listen to Rolling Stones records from the beginning right up until more recent times, that amazing backbeat that the Rolling Stones had, because they were, and they still are, as far as I'm concerned, a brilliant, it's like rhythm and blues rock band. And you need a fantastic drummer. But looking at him, it was like the sound that you were hearing wasn't the sound that you was watching, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, very, very sad. And really, there's only Mick and Keith left now of the original Stones.
Oh no.
Long may they last. I think they're fantastic. I love the Rolling Stones.
Hang on for a second. Guy just put another one. Got another message here.
Yes. Funnily enough, I was watching a video of his the other night, because there's quite a lot of videos on YouTube at the moment. All because I was searching for Charlie Watts last week, and what happens on YouTube is when you search for something, you'll know all about this, Steve, with the things that you look for. You tend to then get lots of suggestions.
Yeah,
and funnily enough, there was a very, very interesting video about his his jazz playing, his jazz band that he was working with. Jazz isn't a type of music I choose to listen to, but I just watched it out of interest. And I think there was like a sort of like a reserved quietness about Charlie Watts. He was very understated. If you watch his interviews, he was a very sort of like yes or no kind of answer man. He wouldn't give much away, and it's just interesting to learn a little bit more about him.
I love jazz. I do. I love it.
Yes, we used to call them jazz mags back in the old days. Steve, is that what you're talking about there?
No, I just love jazz. I love the music.
Oh, the music, right?
Yeah, I'm not on about the old days. I'm on about now. I love jazz. I can listen to it for all night if I had the chance. But the trouble is, though, with musicals, Mark, it's like anything with music. It's not what it is today, what it used to be, or was it? Like 50s, 60s, and everything. Music was what you call music, and now it's like, I'm not trying to be funny, but it's a lot of rubbish out there, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. In the modern day, it's absolutely shockingly bad.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes when I'm not driving. When Mary is driving the car, and we have heart radio on, and it's the odd pop song from the modern day, shall we say, that comes on, and it's just as catchy to me as what Together in Electric Dreams would have been to me back in the 80s. I hear a half decent pop song, but when you go into these nightclubs, which are full of 15 and 16-year-olds wannabe gangsters, and it's just horrible electronic music, it's shockingly bad.
Yeah. Do you listen to love songs?
Yeah.
Yeah. On art, I love it when you're on art at night, when it's like you've got all these love songs on, ain't you?
Well, I tend to only listen to Heart in the car. At home, we listen to Smooth Radio. Yeah, that's lots of love songs on Smooth Radio.
I love it. I just kind of we used to have art on during the night, and you know, and it just you used to fall asleep and you used to wake up. Then all of a sudden, when you used to wake up in the morning, it was somebody else on shouting their head off in there.
Yeah, the breakfast show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hot breakfast show here. Get your eggs out and your bacon, whatever you got. But no, music is so changed now.
Yeah.
You know, it's not what it used to be.
But you know, Steve, that's probably just us getting older because when people like Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley came along, there was, people of an older age, like almost like we are now. They said exactly the same things,
Yeah,
about, your Perry Comos and your Bing Crosbys and all the rest of it was sort of like being pushed aside by this noise, which to us, that's what we look back on as perfect music, as the golden age of music, proper songs, proper music, proper words. There'll always be, sadly, somebody who won't like what's coming along. I just can't see how anybody could like modern music, really. Or be passionate about it.
What do you think of Meatloaf? Not to eat, but
Yeah. I think as I've got older, I can tolerate him in a way that I couldn't when I was younger. Because I don't particularly like rock music. But again, something like Dead Ringer for Love, which as a 12-year-old, when that came out, that was just rock music, and it was macho music, and it was everything that I didn't want anything to do with. But now when I hear it, I hear a song. The same with Bat Out of Hell. Some of his stuff, as we went through the 80s and the 90s, I think it became almost like a cliche, I suppose, because these song titles that it had, I would give anything for love, but I won't do that, or whatever it is. It seemed to be almost like a parody.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. He's good at what he does, and he's made a career out of it. I appreciate him and what he does a lot more now as an older person than what I did when I was younger.
Yep, there you go, guys. Well, Mark, I don't know what happened there, but we started talking about music and we carried on. Okay, thank you. Don't forget, guys, sometimes we got to say no, even if we don't want to say no.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
And
anyway,
and just to end with a lyric from my favourite singer of the modern age, the modern day, Morrissey. He had a song called Black Eyed Susan. And one of the lines in the song goes like this: no is always easier than yes. And sometimes it can be saying no. It can be easier than saying yes. Okay. Don't be frightened. Don't be frightened of it. It's not negative.
So don't say yes.
Come on, Steve, wrap it up now.
Okay, I'm wrapping it up now.
People are wanting to go to bed.
Yes, so do I. Okay, guys, good night. God bless, and thank you very much for watching. Mark Mephis, thank you.
I always get this bit wrong. There it is. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.